Frank Herbert's Dune is an insane property to try and make. We've seen it through David Lynch's film in the 1980s that's kind of revered as a cult classic, even though it really arguably isn't the greatest film of all time. You had Sci-Fi doing a long form miniseries, which worked out pretty well, but still had the budgetary restrictions of being a made for TV sci-fi film. Even though it ultimately was better received in the end, I still think that people were really hoping for the big, large scale, big budget adaptation, which we are getting next year with Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how to pronounce his name, man. I know he's French, but Jesus, dude. My last name is French, but it's shortened over time. Shorten that. Just go like my name is Dennis Village. There we go. That's fine. Anyway, the point is, they're now, Warner's at least, is so confident in what he's producing, what he's bringing to the table, that they have greenlit and brought a straight to series order for a new Dune TV series, which will be directed, at least a pilot episode, by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know I'm so going to be. How do you pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, Warner Brothers and Legendary Entertainment are going all in on Dune. Not only are they releasing a huge star-studded movie adaptation, they're also going forward with a Dune TV series for their upcoming streaming service. Again, it's all about Warner Media right now. This is what you have to pay attention to. It's all about Warner Media. That's what we're going to see for the next, few months until this thing comes out. They're going to be announcing everything under the sun for it. Like I've already reported on, they're probably going to close down DC Universe as a streaming service, as a standalone service, and migrate it into Warner Media. It just seems to make the most sense. And they're already basing everything around HBO. So pay attention to Warner Media because it's going to rival Disney Plus and Netflix 100%. Now, the general, it says here that the show is going to be called Dune: The Sisterhood, and it will be set in the same universe as the film and will focus on a mysterious order of women. And for the sake of synergy, Denis is going to be directing the pilot. The general public hasn't seen a single frame from his Dune adaptation, but the folks at Warner's and Legendary are clearly feeling very confident in how things will turn out. THR reports that Warner Media has just given a straight-to-series order for Dune Sisterhood, a TV series set in the same world as the upcoming film. The series explores the future through the eyes of a mysterious order of women, the Bene Gesserit. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sure somebody will tell me. Given abilities by the mastery of the body and the mind, the Bene Gesserit expertly weave through the feudal politics and intrigue of the Imperium, pursuing plans of their own that will ultimately lead them to the enigmatic planet Arrakis, known to the inhabitants of Dune. So it's going to be something that's a side series. I don't know if this is based in anything. I'm sure it is based on something that's part of the books. I've never read them, so again, I'm sure I will be absolutely schooled in the comment section. Now, it says here, the Bene Gesserit have always been fascinating to me. Focusing a series around that powerful order of women seemed not only relevant and inspiring, but a dynamic setting for the television series. Now, John Sapatitz will write it along with Denis. And that's interesting because, okay, so from what I can gather from this, again, is just that they were mentioned in the book. This is kind of their own adaptation of that. And it's kind of like a political intrigue sort of thing to weave in and out of elements of the film adaptation to give us a bit more backstory. I would argue, if I'm going to be realistic here, this is the Agents of Shield to the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like this show is Agents of Shield and Dune is the Avengers. That's what I'm taking it on. And the fact that everyone's involved and Warner and Legendary's behind both properties means we're not going to end up getting that weird TV movie split that sometimes happens. Now, apparently Legendary has a whole slew of ideas for this world, including video games, comic books, and digital content. This all might seem premature, but what if the general public ends up hating the Dune movie? For now, it looks like it's full steam ahead. Well, okay. Will the general public ultimately hate the Dune movie? The answer to that is probably. But that's not where they're going to make their money. All right. Like, look. Go and look at Blade Runner 2049. It is a major, major film. It is a great, great movie. It is so good, but it didn't deliver in the box office. It just didn't deliver in the box office. Dune has a massive fan base, but it is such a complex storyline. It's one whose people who watch it growing up, like me, know it for like the surface level bits. Those of us who aren't like hardcore Frank Herbert fans will know like the surface level bits of it. Oh yeah, the sandworm. Oh yeah, House Atreides. Oh, the spice. It's all about the spice. Sting and Brad Dourif from Picard's in the movie, and that weird dude from Twin Peaks. Like that's how we're going to interpret that. And that's not to say that the movie's not going to be good. I think it's going to be fantastic. I know people have been trying to get it off the ground for a while, this type of hard science fiction adaptation. And now that the visual effects can support it, it makes a lot of sense to be able to actually do that. So the way I'm viewing this ultimately is that it's going to be a very interesting experiment. Now, here's kind of my take on it. Sisterhood will run probably before, at least it will probably come out right around the same time as Dune, which comes out November 2020. It comes out a year after Warner Media has launched, which tells me that they're going to want to launch this series definitely before that movie in order to and they're going to heavily promote it through all of the apps, through Cinemax, through HBO, through whatever they've got attached and anchored to the Warner Media service. That's what they're going to market the hell out of it. And what they're going to do is give it to the people who are watching that service and go, oh, this is something that's cool, and then use them as a potential launching pad to get them to go see the movie in the theater and using word of mouth marketing to get people to show up. That's my take on it. And I think I'm right. And it's honestly the best play. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you automatically try to bring in the biggest group you possibly can by doing it this way? Anyway, I'm very curious to see what they do with this. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Are you excited for this concept? This isn't the first time this has happened, by the way. They tried doing it with the Dark Tower a number of years ago, where they were going to do the Dark Tower movie and then do a TV series for book 2. Then the next summer was going to be Dark Tower 3, like the movie would be the third book, so on and so forth to the end. That didn't happen. The movie bombed, but now Amazon Studios is adapting Dark Tower into its own series. The Stand was going to be something similar, where they were going to do a television series and have that lead to a feature film adaptation or a feature film conclusion. That ultimately isn't happening, but The Stand is being adapted for CBS All Access, which I am super excited for. So they've always tried this sort of thing with these sort of stories, and this is the first time we're going to see the big overall story and then an ancillary tale on the side. And I think that's going to be fascinating. I think that's going to be super interesting, and I want to see what they're going to do with it. But again, your thoughts, does this excite you? Does it blow your skirt up? Does it make your nips hard? Can they cut glass? Or do you just go, the movie was so boring, the tale is crap, I don't care? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. Let me know down in the comments. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out.